Hi everybody, Masquerade part 8. Oh, 1, 2. 2 injections this morning. Last tetanus, last booster. Gotta be good. Fans are off. Roosters are asleep. Cats are asleep. Let's recap. Craig, Irish lorry driver, looking for a ladyboy companion, so this will be his second after the experience at the hotel. He's in a pool hall in Ceylon, a couple of streets back, maybe one street back from the night market, Patpong night market. Upstairs in a pool hall, a lot of girls and ladyboys around. He's had a game of pool and lost. He's got several ladyboys at each side of him, but one's catching his eye across the pool hall. Not that tall, hair down to sort of shoulders, but dead straight, like those straightener jobs to make it dead straight. Attractive, slim, keeps catching his eye. Another game where he's sat, plays another game, loses again. 20 patter game. Anyway, he keeps looking at this girl. Let's just call her A, or Adam, or Andy. No, let's just call her A. They keep, all the girls and ladyboys are looking across at all the foreigners in there, or any guy that's in there, potentially looking for a partner for the night. Anyway, this A keeps clocking him as well. He finishes game, loses again. Anyway, this A sort of waves him across and sort of come and points to the table that she's on. And he's like, yeah. The hostess running around getting the drink. She spots him, spots the signals. She says, grabs his drink, grabs his pot, his bin, walks across with him, and it's at the side where the windows are. You can look through the windows down at the soy, and there's also like a glass bridge going across to another shop or something, bar. He goes across, and the hostess puts his drink on like a round table there, small round table, quite high, and the bin, and she sort of stands back. And this A, she's not on the table playing. She puts her hand out and shakes his hand. Speaks quite good English, a bit broken but quite good. And they just start chatting, introducing each other. You know, Craig, like, I'm Craig, nice to meet you. And the hostess says, do you want to play? Put your name on the board. And he's like, can I not play on a separate table, just me and A? She said, no, all the tables are taken, people waiting. And A says, it's finished drink, and she points out the window across the road downstairs. There's 2, 3 beer bars there, and there's one table you can see, and there's no one on it. She said, we can play there. He says, great. So, hostess, bill, and they say, shouts for her bill as well. He's not that much of a gentleman because he didn't pay a bill. Paid his. Yeah, off they walk. Down the stairs. Across the road to this bar, walks in, no one at the table. And he said, come check if we can play on our own, we haven't got a queue. And they say, talks to the, oh, go back to sleep. Talks to this woman behind the bar, like, can we play for a while? Just us. Yep, no problem. 20 baht a game. A orders drinks and A has a beer. And let's call it a singer. And what's he have, a chang? Yeah. Unreal. 3 roosters. I'm now nicknaming them K, F and C. So they grab the drinks, park up next to the pool table, and just start playing pool, getting to know each other, chatting away. A seems lovely. Now Craig's starting, now he's He's had a ladyboy experience. He's starting to look at the differences, how you can tell a ladyboy from a girl. I mean, the obvious signs: big feet, big hands, Adam's apple. Just a look. Hair, is it real? Is it a wig? Breasts, enlarged, or is it from pills and things? He starts to look, but this A is definitely had a boob job. Very attractive. Anyway, they play for maybe a good hour, chatting, getting to know each other, and A asks him about his experiences. She actually says, "Do you know I'm not a girl?" And he's yeah, and he's sort of glad, because that's what he wants to experience, another ladyboy. Is there another word for ladyboys apart from katoy, which I believe is a bit derogatory? She girls, I don't know. Anyway, we're just going to say ladyboys. Seems to be the politically correct way. He tells her all about Nid, and what happened, and then how he ended up going with his first ladyboy. Told her pretty much everything. And A was most impressed. Oh, Kirby has appeared to annoy me. She's had the kittens, still full of milk. He zooms in on the tripod every time. Kirby. Why did I name her Kirby? Go away. Trying to tell a story. A tells him a bit about her background, and they just get on great. They just really do. Then comes crunch time. I mean, it must be getting on a bit, sort of late in the evening, and Craig thinks, yeah, this is the girl. And he says to A, will you spend the night with me? And A very diplomatically comes around to the finances, and they agree on a price of about 2,000 baht. Craig never actually told me the exact figure, so I'm just going to guess about 2,000 baht. And A's happy. Yeah, we've done a deal. You know, they've done a deal, and she asks where his hotel was, and he tells her. And okay. So she already knew which end of the road to go to get the taxis to go back in that direction to the hotel. So that's was good. Pay the bill. He pays the bill this time. Walk up the end of the road, hail a taxi meter, off to the hotel. Pull up at the hotel, and they both shuffle out the passenger side. Craig pays the taxi driver. And hand in hand they almost skip through the revolving door of the hotel. As they go through the revolving door of the hotel, to your right hand side, pretty much a good long desks for the reception. There's a bit of a seating bar area to the left, and then a bit further down on the left is a seating area for coffee and things, and then I think there's an internet cafe just after that. Come through the doors. I think Craig comes through first, A comes through, he sort of pulls her through, and as they get through the doors, Craig stops in his tracks and stops A. His receptionist to his right in front of him, 20 meters, sat in a chair, staring straight at him, is going to be a very hard cliffhanger for you. I'm going to change things up a bit, and I'm going to tell you another story, and I'm going to keep you waiting on this. I want to try something else. in a small village, northeastern section of Thailand, not far from Khon Kaen, Udon Thani, in a district by the name of Surin. Small village outside of Surin, really, even smaller. Is a family, a mother and father, only child, a son, Martin. And this is a story about Martin. Martin, between the age of 8 and 12, realised he was a bit different from the other boys. He didn't like the boyish games. He would rather try and play with the girls. Mind you, all the boys wanted to play with the girls, but he wanted to play with the girls and maybe play girly games. He was going through that last section of the junior school. Mum loved him. He helped around the house, loved cleaning, loved doing chores. His father was a member of the council, local government, had a very reasonably good job, wasn't huge pay, but reasonable, and they had a townhouse they lived in. It was a double townhouse. At the front of the one townhouse, the mother sold some bakery products, and it was just like a bit of a shop. She did part-time in the daytime, and Martin would help out as well when he was home. This story about Martin, it's we're going to accelerate it and try and understand what happened to Martin going forward. He reached secondary school, the equivalent of secondary school, 12 years old. It was a little bit further. It was a bus journey away from home to get to school, 20 minutes on the bus. It was like a government bus service that the family had to pay a little bit of money for, but it was subsidised, so not too bad. Martin arrived at the secondary school at 12 years old, and for the first few years settled in okay. He did know some people from his area, went to the same school, and met a lot of new friends, but again was not socialising with the boys, more with the girls, in a quite feminine way. He knew as he was approaching his teens that he was different. Something wasn't quite right in his mind. He met a couple of other children as he sort of got to 14, 15 that were the same as him, but they dressed more feminine. It was just an average public school, so there wasn't strict rules in place about hair and dress. It was quite a poor area, but even so it was a basic uniform. But he did meet some other boys, and other boys at the same age as him, 14, 15, were exploring girls, as in boyfriends, girlfriends, but he wasn't interested in that way. He had no feelings sexually towards girls at all, and these other boys he met were the same. And a couple of years older than them, maybe they were sixth formers, they were 16, 17 that had stayed on at school for further education, were boys that were wearing girls' clothes and acting like girls, not, you know, not gay, maybe not knowing if they were gay or not, but potential lady boys, as in a girl that's been, as I possibly see it, as a girl that's been born in a boy's body, trapped in a boy's body, that wants to get out. And Martin, as he 15, 16, more and more time at home doing chores with mum, didn't really go out and about, like dressing up at home in slightly different clothes. And Martin's mum, she knew, she had the feeling, she just knew that Martin wasn't right, wasn't happy, he was different. His father wasn't really interested, but the mum tried talking to Martin about it, and Martin was open and honest about being, 15, 16, something wasn't right, and he didn't feel like he was a boy. He started feeling like he was a girl, and wanted to act like a girl, wanted to dress like a girl, and spoke to mum about it. In the small village, there was no other lady boys as such, and the father would have not agreed with it, and would have possibly lost face in the village, being there was no other ones, no other lady boys about, or no other people that were gay or not. And the mum suggested to Martin that he'd only got a couple of months left at this school at 16, at which point he could go fend for himself, move away and go to college. Now, one of the things over the last year or so in Martin's school, they'd started doing drama. Martin excelled at drama. Martin started to he fell in love with music and the idea of dancing, a bit like the Billy Elliot story. Even though he hadn't done any dancing, in his mind, and maybe the other boys, girls had mentioned it or something, and at 16 he was very sensible, very grown up for his age. He'd studied hard and done really well at school, pretty much in the top 10% of every class. His dad was very happy. Come to the end of the 16th year, all the exams, he passed them all with flying colours. He asked mother about options and what he could do. Did she have any ideas? He'd never really been away from home, away from the village. She wasn't really too sure, but she said maybe you could ask at school. Maybe they could go together, talk to some of the teachers and see if there's any information about. And he did. He asked around at the other boys and girls and things, and the mother did go to the school with him, and they did some career advice similar to most countries. There was a few colleges, not university, a few colleges, public colleges, with the grades Martin achieved that he could go to in Bangkok. And some of the major cities, maybe Khon Kaen had something, maybe Udon Thani, but the Bangkok sort of scary for a 16-year-old boy to go it alone. They had no relatives in Bangkok, nothing. The mother said to Martin, look, we can't afford to pay for your college and things. You'd have to get a job to pay for your college, but I'm sure if I spoke to your dad and we didn't tell him about your feminine feelings, and if we kept it between ourselves, maybe your father and me could afford to pay for your accommodation, a room. I mean, outside of the centre, away from the centre, you could get a room, maybe 2,000 baht, or share a room that's a bit bigger with a person, especially if you have someone from the college. How much was the college going to be? They made inquiries, and it wasn't a huge amount of money. It was about equivalent to 1,000 baht a week, but it was drama. It was college art, drama, went on to dancing and various other arts and performances. There was a 2-year, a 3-year, 4-year courses available. Now, one of the things Martin loved was chores around the house and things. So he already had it in his mind that he'd like to be in some sort of retail job where he's cleaning and tidying up and left alone. He didn't want to manage his job or anything big, just something he could pay enough money to pay for the college and food. The day came where Mum and Dad had a conversation. Dad was proud of Martin, done all these great exam results, and the fact that Martin wanted to go to college and wanted to go it alone, wanted to go to Bangkok. The dad totally agreed, was happy to pay for Martin's accommodation, and surprised the mum, up to 3,000-4,000 baht a month, which is a fair wedge out of his salary. But he was so excited that Martin was going to go on and improve his career. But when Martin said that the college he wanted was arts and performance and drama, the father wasn't really that impressed. Thought he was going to go on maybe to business school or something. But it was going to be for a degree or bachelor's or master's degree, so it still was going to be good. So the father, like, yep, happy, and suggested that the family, they would go down and spend a few days in Bangkok and try and enroll him with the college that he wants to go to. He said that he would pay as well for the first, say, month on top of this accommodation to get it all started, so time for Martin to find a job. Brilliant. And to go down for a few days and have a search around the college area, maybe find some accommodation, see what's what. Maybe the college had some accommodation. Anyway, they did. So Martin, 16 years old, family goes to Bangkok, they find the college. There was a choice of 2. They went for one that was outside of Bangkok, on the west side, and managed to get him enrolled, and it was about 1,100 baht a month, 3,000 or 4,000 baht a term. They didn't have accommodation at the college, but there was lots of notices up. All the local people who live around colleges, they put rooms for rent up on the board. They're not daft. And there was plenty of rooms, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 baht. And the father suggested, look, just get 2,000 baht for now. You might meet someone and you can get a room together, a bigger place. And Martin agreed. So while they were there, they had a night out. Next day they took all the phone numbers and went and looked at rooms. And within a couple of hours they'd found a room that was half a kilometre away. And the college was on a main road, a main thoroughfare road, 2-lane road each side. And there was quite a lot of busy retail area as well. Found a room pretty quick, and Martin was happy, Dad was happy, Mum was happy. They spoke to the owner of it was actually a townhouse again, like they lived in, with 4 rooms for rent in the townhouse. And a bit of a shared front area where someone could park a car, and there was a bit of a table and seats, but not much else. There was a shared shower. But as Martin's father said, you just get a big bin in there, put water in, have a shower in your own room. Yeah, whatever, no problem. Father paid all the money to the owner. It was just a case of pay 1 month in advance. Got all the phone number off the owner, and they sorted Martin out with a mobile phone, a SIM card, a bit of pocket money. Got Martin a bank account, and so that the father could, in emergency, put money in there. He got the bank account of the house owner, transfer every month money for the rent, so it was guaranteed. The owner was very happy. There was only one other person in this house at the time. There were still 2 empty rooms, and that was it. they set Martin up pretty well. He was on his own, he got to find a job. He was about 5 hours from home in Surin, maybe 4.5, and planned to get back home after he got a job and a bit of money, depending on what the job was. So they're all happy. Off Mum and Dad go. Martin is on his own, and at this point he has the opportunity. In his mind he's thinking that from this moment he wants to change his clothes to girls' clothes. He wants to change his hair, let it grow, and he's not sure if he's gay. He's not sure if he wants a woman's body. He's not sure. He's confused. 16 years old, and now on his own. Straight away he needs food. Out he goes, explore the road, explore the area. So he heads off. There's a big supermarket 1 kilometre up on the right, a big C, supermarket and shops. There's loads of little shops all the way along, restaurants, cafes, salons, and he's just walking. He's literally just come out of his room, he's walking along, heading away from the college, trying to find somewhere to sell roosters to. Now, going along the road, and fate, a couple of bus stops, shops right next to the bus stop, bit of food for sale there. In the window of a salon, help wanted, and it says a student's okay, part-time. He's just okay, why not, let's find out. He's a sensible lad, very sensible. He just walked straight in. It's a ladies' salon. It's aimed at ladies. There's one girl there cutting hair and nobody else, but there's 2 other chairs. And he says he's seen the sign and what's the job, and the girl, ladies, I'm sorry, I don't know, you need to see the boss. She's out, back tomorrow morning. Come back 10 o'clock or whatever. He's like, okay, thanks. Out he comes. So nearly fate stepping in. Anyway, off he goes, gets food, has a look around. He's going to need some bits and pieces for his room, but not much. Thai people tend to live out and eat out all the time, so he's going to need a plate and some cutlery maybe, and cups and things, but he'll sort that out the next day. He's got 3 or 4 days before the college starts, and he's got to learn his way around the college, etc. Next morning, goes out, gets some breakfast, chicken soup, goes to the salon, walks in. There's 3 ladies in there. Anyway, the first girl he saw the night before recognised him when she was at the front chair, and she turns around to the other woman and said, oh, this boy on about the job. And Martin, he's still sort of dressed like a boy, but his voice, he's making it, trying to make it more feminine. As it happens for him, the lady who owns the shop and runs it is a ladyboy. I'm going to call her B. Face again for Martin. Martin says hello, and B, sort of puzzled, looking at him. You're a boy. She said the job here is cleaning up, making drinks for us, making drinks for the customers, whatever else we want you to do. Go for stuff, and a Thai gopher, go for this and go for that, and help out in the shop. It's not a big huge shop, but it's got 3 hairdresser seats and mirrors, and there's sinks and things. And she said, if you like it and we like you, maybe we'll teach you bits and pieces of hairdressing. Martin's trying to put the feminine voice on. He's not doing a very good job, and he's excited and said he'd love the job. And she's just looking at him and puzzled, and you're a boy, why do you want to work in a hairdresser's? And he's like, I'm not really a boy, I'm not masculine, I'm different. That's probably the first person he said that to. And B sort of, And she says, well, it's part-time, you're at college here, I take it. In Thai. He doesn't speak English. And I start in 3 or 4 days time doing drama and art, all the rest of it. I don't know what the hours are yet. And she said, well, I pretty much know. She said, but you want to, how much do you want to work? Do you want to work every day, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7? He said, I need to pay for college and my food, so probably a lot. And B's explained it's not huge money, but it's probably a couple of hundred, maybe 150 baht a shift. I mean, a full day this is a few years ago, so this is 10, 15 years ago. So the average salary then in jobs was probably 250 baht a day, so it was probably 100 baht a day, maybe 150. But he could earn enough to pay for the college and food and live. And B seemed to understand and knew roughly, she must have had students there before, and the prices and things. Anyway, she agreed to sort him out, and for him to just start and see how he gets on, but do a few days. Aim for 6 days a week, because Sundays he needs to study probably, but if he wants to work 7, they can, because the shop's open 7, but they're not always there, all 3 of them. And she introduced him to the other girls, and showed him around and said, you've got a few days now to get ready for college. You probably don't want to work in the day, but start at 5 o'clock tomorrow and the next day, and your college will finish about 3:30. Do 5 o'clock through till we finish. Could be 9, could be 10. So come back tomorrow for 5 and work for me. He's landed a job just like that. Excited, leaves the premises, heads back to the room, phone mum, not dad, phone mum, tells her that he's got a job in a hairdresser's, just cleaning up. Mum's really excited, over the moon, and brilliant. Craig's come through those doors with they're stood there right in front of him, sat in the chair, 20 meters, as clear as day, as lighting's good in the hotel. Who is it? Yeah, we know who it is. It's Nid. And Nid stands up, spots Craig instantly, stands up and walks towards him faster than he's walking towards her. He's saying to the current girl with him, this is that Thai girl that I was seeing and had a problem with, in a split second before Nid come towards him. And A's like, she stood right in front of him, looking at A, and with a dirty look. Craig's pretty speechless. He doesn't know what she's going to say. He's wondering what she's doing there. He'd given her 10,000 baht to go away and back to Pattaya. What's she done? Has she gone and just blown it in the area and not gone back, or has she gone with another guy and now she's got no guy? What's she doing? What's she here for? And for those people, no, she's not pregnant. For those of you who said she's pregnant, she says to him, all apologies, how sorry she was. She understands what had happened to him with that other lady boy, and that she realizes that she loves him so much. She doesn't love the older guy that's given her loads of money, and she says that she would love to finish with that guy and spend time solely with Craig, and that she loves him. And she's looking up at him with sort of imaginary tears in her eyes. Craig's, he's just not interested. He is looking down at her. He's not much taller than her, but he's looking at her, and he's saying, I'm not interested. I'm now trying other things. I told you I would email you once I got home. He's going home the next evening, the next night, one more day. He's going back to Ireland, end of his holiday. And he said, I'm busy, I'm not coming back to you. I will email you in the future. I'm now doing other things. So I'm sorry. I don't know why he's saying he's sorry. I'm sorry. Now, Nit at this point would normally have a huge turn and turn angry and start throwing things at him. That would be the normal. But she didn't. She actually didn't. Then she starts again, please, I want you, and she off again, and no. He stands his ground. I'm sorry, no, it's not happening. She'd been there for probably hours waiting for him. And he says, go back to Pattaya. Go back to that guy. When I come back, I'll email you to let you know I'm back, and maybe I'll come and see you. I think at this point, she gave up. She's like, she didn't attack him. She didn't go berserk. She gave the girl with him a really dirty look, and she just said fine, and instead of walking around him to stomp off or walking around she just pushed them out of the way and walked through the middle of them, straight to the middle of them, barged through, fine, had a huff, a little bit of a huff, and off she went. Huge relief from Craig, and he looks at A and says, I'm sorry, and A's like, don't worry, no problem. And he walked over to reception. The girl from reception sort of looks at Craig and looks at his A, knowing that A's a ladyboy, and sort of smiles. He gets his key. Again, no security, no request for ID cards at that hotel, nothing. And his adventure begins for the night. Off they go to the room, and at 8:30 in the morning, A is dressed and ready to go and leave. She'd already twigged when he said that he was going that night, late that night, he was going back to Ireland. So there was no point in trying to get another date with him. It was pointless. So he said goodbyes to Craig. He gave her some money, and he'd had another experimental night. Wasn't the same as the first girl, lady boy, different again, but he enjoyed himself. The experience was more relaxing than his normal previous encounters with women. He was comfortable in what had just happened. He grabbed his clothes and was going to head down to breakfast, so he said to her, "I'll walk you out." Gave her money, kissed her goodbye. They went down in the lift, out to the doors, said goodbye. He got A's phone number, line ID, wasn't around in those days, but phone number, and email address. Said maybe he'd contact her next time he was in Thailand. There was no definite plans to come back to Thailand, but thought, you know, maybe he would. I don't know at this point. Anyway, walks to the door, says goodbye, off she goes. Goes off. Breakfast. Reasonably nice breakfast, a sort of buffet breakfast. He sat there eating his breakfast, mulling over life. He was flying home that night. He'd had a few weeks and it had been a complete life changer in some ways, this holiday. He was sat with the window behind him, the main road behind, table, almost finished. And he looks across and there's a girl from the reception that stands on this little desk, gets your room number as you come in to make sure that whether you pay in or it's free breakfast. His was included, so and he looked across at this girl checking in people, and there stood, giving her room number, was a beautiful woman with no bandage on her neck. Back to Martin. He started college, and we'll skip a little bit forward. He was enjoying the work, and B, the lady that ran the salon, was a lady boy. I started realising and helping Martin, understood what Martin was going through. She'd gone through it, and over the next year it had become apparent that Martin in fact was a woman trapped in a lady's body, in a man's body, and wanted to be a lady. B helped him start to change his life. In the year there was another boy at college in exactly the same boat, same position. Martin and this boy got on really well, so much so that he moved out of the room he was in. They found a bigger place, an apartment that they could afford between them, and it was perfect, so they were going to go through the transition together. This other boy had got a job at a fast food restaurant, and they were going to go through college together. Martin changed his name, his clothes. He started dressing feminine in women's clothes. Changed his name to Maddie, M-A-D-D-Y, Maddie. His mother understood, was sympathetic and fine, but insisted if he came home at any weekends that he'd have to come home as a boy, which was tricky because Maddie wanted to grow hair long, start taking pills to change hormones and to grow a female breast, but it was gonna have to wear a hat with hair under the hat and stuff to go home and see Dad. He somehow managed it. But in that first Well, through that first year, Martin, Maddie, and B, the boss at the hairdresser, discovered that Maddie had a knack with hairdressing. A real knack. In fact, B started coaching Maddie in hairdressing, and it's confusing talking about Maddie and Martin. We're going to have to call Martin Maddie from now on. And Maddie picked it up really quick. Definitely had an artistic streak in her, Maddie. Martin is now a woman in the story. Really good at hairdressing. And B has become a coach, a mentor about changing sexuality across becoming a woman. Helps Martin and his friend. His friend came to visit when he wasn't working. And within the start of the second year, Maddie was so good at hairdressing, B gave Maddie a considerable pay rise, it was a good salon, was always busy, and gave Maddie a chair. And Maddie started cutting hair to a high standard, really high standard. It was almost a natural. And over that second year, just got better and better, so much so that clients were coming in, people were coming in asking to take that rooster away, to cut their hair. And the money was just getting better and better. Maddie was saving really hard, was buying more clothes, girls' clothes, but was saving really hard. 18 years old now. Over the next 2 years, Maddie went through the college. She passed everything with top marks. She learned dancing, she learned drama. She had this dream to be a dancer. Now, as she's realising changing into a woman, she's starting to think what job she could do as a dancer. She starts dreaming of it all the time. But more importantly, she wants to change her body a bit more permanent. Saving hard, really hard. After a couple of years, 20 years old, Maddie's friend had moved away. Maddie was just in her apartment on her own but could afford it, was working hard, doing great hairdressing, earning lots of money for a standard hairdresser, but saving so hard. The first thing she spent savings on, and she had more than enough for it, after B's advice, was a breast implant. And that's what she did. She went to a good hospital, paid quite a bit of money, probably 50,000 baht back then, had a breast implant. It took a good year to get used to it, maybe longer. But again, Maddie just kept getting better and better at hairdressing. She was B's angel. B was earning more money because Maddie was getting extra clients in. Maddie could have easily gone to she was that good, she could have gone to one of the proper salons, one of the big salons in the centre of Bangkok maybe, and maybe earned a lot more money, but it was still really good money she was earning. But she was getting older. She had not had any form of sexual contact with another person. She was what, 21, coming on 22? No idea And B started to coach her and teach her about that sort of thing, and that Maddie would probably want a boyfriend. Anyway, jumping again, a couple more years go past. She's 24, coming on 25. B's coached her, and she's had a few Thai boyfriends, or encounters, not long-term relationships. 100% sure that she is a lady, and the dream of dancing, it's just eating her away. And she takes a step. She's 24, 25, she decides that she's going to try to get a dancing job. Now that she is transforming into a ladyboy, she's thinking of the ladyboy shows. She's visited them on day trips and things. She's seen some of them. She's in the scene, talking to people. She's now got the skills from the college, but she just needs the looks. She's had the breast implants. She talks to B, and B's, well, the next thing you've got to do is shave the Adam's apple and a nose job. And she says to B that, look, I want to do this, but I'm then going to go on another step and remove the male organ. I'm then going to go somewhere and try and get a dancing job. I want to try it. It's my dream. And B, going to lose a great hairdresser, but really supportive. And it's like, understand. You've saved enough money for all of this. This operation's going to cost you this and this and this and that. And yeah, Maddie had saved hundreds and hundreds of thousands of baht from just working so hard every day. So B helps Maddie. Maddie didn't have much stuff in her apartment. She hadn't bought loads of stuff. She'd saved her money. She said, I'm going to move out. I'm going to get these operations, stay in a hotel, get a rest, do the next operation, and then I'm going to move. I'm going to try Phuket. And B's like, I've got some friends there. Gave her addresses, names, phone numbers, and said I'll also contact them. To save money, she's going to move out of the flat, and she's just going to go and have the ops, get a cheap hotel. And she does. She says goodbye to B. She moves out of the flat. She goes to the hospital. She has the Adam's apple operation, and she has the nose operation. It's 1 day each in the hospital. She checks into a hotel, sort of a 3-star, and after those 2 operations, she's at the hotel relaxing. She has a bit of an encounter at that hotel with some guy, a foreigner, and then she's off back to the hospital for the next op, which is going to be, she's gone for a better hospital. It's going to be a 3-day, so she's checked out of the hospital, hotel. 3-day with recouping, paid for a package, and off she goes to have the male organ removed. And she does. She has the op, recovering, has the 3 days hospital, and then goes back to the hotel she was at before. Checks in the night time, quite late. In the morning, she's going to probably have a week there to recover properly and go back to hospital checkups. In the morning, she comes down for breakfast, and she's scared, happy, confused. She goes to the breakfast lady, gives her a key number, walks through and starts to look for a table. And as she turns left and looks across the room, There's Craig looking at her with the biggest smile on his face you could imagine. Craig's there. She's just come into the hotel. She's in the breakfast. He stands up, walks across, a bit nervous, and says, "I thought I'd never see you again. You went and you're back." And Maddie's like, "Hello, can I join you?" I think we ought to leave it there. Did you expect any of that? Comments below as usual. See you soon. Bye.